So we had our freestyle today, and it could have gone better, but it actually could have gone worse, considering yesterday the way she was in the arena, and I was considering scratching. But I'm happy we did it. It was my first time doing this kind of performance, doing a freestyle performance. I've never done anything like that before, so just combining that fact, she's new at it, I'm new at it, I kind of didn't know how to nurse her along and help her out a little bit, and so she was great. It was more me, and so I'm going to put the video after this video just so you can see, and I'll probably just talk over it and talk about kind of what I was thinking and how I thought everything was going. But basically everything that went wrong was pretty much me. When we got in there, instead of just kind of taking my time and just asking her for one thing at a time slowly so she could understand it, and ignore all the crowds and stuff, I got a little nervous, and then I started asking her too much, too quickly, and you can kind of see it, you'll kind of see it in the video, but it's a rookie mistake. I got nervous, I started speeding up, and she was like, okay, what do you want? And she was trying to be good and just trying to do what I wanted. She just kind of wasn't 100% sure, and that's completely my fault. I think if I had just slowed down and asked for less, the groundwork would have gone a lot better. The riding went okay. I wasn't like super thrilled with it, but overall, I think for our first time trying to do something like this, I think that we did fairly well. And so I'm going to put the video on after this, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. All right. Okay, so they let us come in, and this is just me trying to get her ready for this. And they were just super nice about it, and you can see right there she's standing calmly with the tarp on her. So at that point I'm thinking, all right, this is gonna go great, you know. And then I tell them, all right, go ahead and cue the music, and I started by backing her, which I thought she did really well, and then here's where it kind of starts to go poorly. Right there you can see she lifts her tail and kind of goes into heat at that moment, which is kind of bad timing, but whatever. So I start lunging her around. I regret that now. I wish I had just taken the tarp off and side passed her and backed her a little bit more and done some of the low energy stuff just so she didn't get so hyped up, and then come back to the tarp and everything and just get her attention on me before I start asking her to do difficult stuff. Right out of the gates, I'm asking her to do stuff that's hard, and that was just kind of me just trying to rush, and I hear my music playing, and I know I only have 5 minutes, and I've got all this stuff I want to try. And so here I wanted her to side pass, but I'm asking too quickly, and she thinks I want her to back up, and she's not 100% sure. She yielded her forequarters actually pretty nice right there, but you can tell she's shaking her head, so she pretty much at this point wants me to fuck off. She's lifting her tail there again. I think she's pooping, yeah. And so then when I went to ask her to side pass away from me, she thought I was asking her to side pass towards me and almost ran me over right in front of the music stand. So at that point, I'm just like, all right, let's just abandon that. Let's just get her back over. Let's see if I can salvage the side pass a little bit. And she's still like, I don't know what you want. And at this point, I'm just kind of like, okay, maybe you'll side pass a little bit. I don't know. At this point, I'm just like, okay, you're just being, you know, this is my fault. You're trying to be good. It's just completely my fault. And so at this point, I kind of hear the music start to get to the end of that song. So that's my cue to get back on. And honestly, like at that point when it got to when I had to get back on, I was thinking, I don't know if she's going to stand next to the buckets for me to get on. And then I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do after that. Here, usually she stands and lets me just spank the ground in just ground ties. Yeah, and she was not having it. Every time I walked away from her, she tried to follow me, which I was just kind of like, all right, let's go ahead and get on and see if that gets any better. In here, I just attached the lead rope to the halter. And she actually walked up okay, but then she kind of started like swishing her tail and just being like kind of like looking at the audience and everything, and I know they were thinking, what is this chick trying to do? And then I'm like, all right, hopefully this will end. And then I'm like, well, I hope she doesn't jump away the second I go to jump on her. And she didn't. She was really good. She let me get on. And then I actually, at first, it felt way worse than it looked. Like, it felt terrible. Like, I felt like she was, like, just, hating me and wanting me to die. But it actually looks okay, and she's just in a halter, and I'm bareback, so to get that kind of, I hope she does look like that in the dressage, but you can see, like, she's still kind of annoyed, and she's shaking her head. The canter work wasn't that great. I can get her to canter with her head almost in the dirt on a loose rein, and couldn't do that. Usually I can get her to halt and stand still, couldn't do that. And so I think if I was more experienced with doing this kind of performance, I would be able to kind of cover up a lot more. Like, I just didn't know how to kind of adapt because I had nowhere to go because I had never done this before. So they wanted you to canter both directions, so that's what we did. And at this point I'm like, oh boy, like that halt was terrible. She's swishing her tail. The backup's okay. And then here I try to do a little bit of a spin, which, yeah, she does way better in warm-up. There she's just spinning like a Coke bottle. Yeah, it was kind of a disaster. But then, then she trots off real nice. So, it's just all over the place. So then I'm just like, okay, here's my music ending. All right, let's just jump the barrels and call it a day and get the fuck out of here. And so, yeah, and that's basically what happened. So the moral of this story is, I think I should have tried to find a venue to practice this kind of thing, and I didn't. I couldn't find a way to practice it, and so I didn't know what to expect. The arena was really spooky, and so I don't know. Yeah, and I just wish I hadn't asked for so much. I wish I had just kind of taken it easy on her.